Rhino, and just some countries. And good hello. And good hello. You're listening to Connected Dots with Anne-Marie. We're all connected in one way or another. And this show is about people empowering people, preferably through the arts. And it's sponsored by the Best of St. Pete. The Best of St. Pete is a networking venue for people within the arts, fashion, sports, hospitality, and cuisine industries. It takes a village, so get involved. And yes, you heard me, I said a village, because I've had a village for the longest time, and if people do not get involved, what good does it do? So I want a willing village, a village that wants to be proactive and get involved and enjoy and be on the same frequency. So hello, I am your host, Anne-Marie Cash, and today we are also on YouTube doing a live screening through YouTube and Google Hangouts. And my guest today is Miss Lash. Hi, Lash.
Hi, Anne-Marie. How are you this morning?
Good.
You're good.
Thank you so much for being here. I know we were a little hesitant because I don't like cameras and having a camera on. And Lash is really good at focusing cameras, focusing as well her life, but focusing the camera and knowing the lighting, etc. And we do know that we have a lot of white in the background with the rhinos. And even though Lash has a beautiful suntan, her hair is nice and light. So she was concerned. I am going to tell you right now, you look beautiful.
I wasn't concerned. I was just pointing out why my head disappeared into the wall. Because it's the same color.
And I wanted everybody to hear it first from you. So thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here again.
We are going to be talking about the Exquisite Corpse event that just happened, the launch of the game that just happened at the Museum of Fine Arts this past Thursday, which was July 30th, and it was extremely, extremely exciting. However, before I get into all that, I am going to share a little bit more of music, because if you're not aware, rhinonair.com, we only play independent musicians' music. Music that for the most part you won't hear on traditional radio. I love traditional radio as well. However, I have the opportunity to be working here on rhinonair.com, and we've chosen to only play indie music. Before we came on, it was Hip Abduction, I know played. Imani Rumera, who is so inspirational, played in Natalie Gelman. So I'm going to play a little bit more music, and you can check us out. If you go to the website, I do want to say that you will see live what's going on in the studio, and that's what live streaming is all about, and virtual reality TV is all about as well. I don't like it, but hey, it's another great tool that creates documentation and makes things much easier, so it gives you the visual, and then we also have the audio. So we are going to a break, and when we come back, you will be chatting with Lash and Anne-Marie on WSPF-DB, rhinonair.com, your favorite friendly internet radio station. We will be back soon. Thank you. Streaming audio, music is playing audio, it's video camera, so that's what's going on. Okay. So we're just going to say the Twitter. Oh my gosh, okay. Okay, so that's right now. Yeah. And so what's going on now? Whoa, you tiger! Okay, so it's working. So that's what they see right now. Yeah, makes sense. This really should have this program, so you see this right now. Okay, that's perfect. I was going to come back. So I can see. There I go. And then 212. Exquisite Corpse. I need the list of participants. Here we go now. We have 137, 131. So smart. I just start telling people when they say that's not pretty. Everybody's hearing that. Okay. Sorry. The bottles. And we're back. Thank you so much. You were just listening to Burning Tree, and I just love their music as well. I do know that one of the band members, he works here at one of our local bars. And he's a bartender there, and they are just always so inspirational. So, and I'm looking at myself in the camera. Okay, camera does make you gain some weight here. You don't look any fatter, but I do, so I'm going to use that disclaimer. And this is definitely the time to get on a diet and start working things out better. Lash, thank you so much for being with me here today. And before we went to break, I had mentioned that we're going to be talking about what just happened at the Museum of Fine Arts this past Thursday. And we had the launch of the game Exquisite Corpse. And if you're not familiar with Exquisite Corpse, I'm going to read you a quick definition here. And it's a three-dimensional rendering of the classic drawing game Exquisite Corpse. The game has been played for almost 100 years. Exquisite Corpse International is bringing the game to St. Petersburg, Florida in 2D canvas and 3D sculpture form. And an example, in the three-dimensional game of Exquisite Corpse, sections of the body will be sculpted out of different art media. Now, we're talking about 3D. So let me explain how the game has been played so far. Back in the day, people would take a piece of paper, fold it in three. So I fold it here, and I fold it here, and I could have done a better fold. But then what happens is one artist would draw the face here, covers it up, opens the page, gives it to the next artist. Then the next artist draws the torso, covers it up, and then gives it to the next artist, and they draw the legs. And then when you open it up, there would be a corpse. That's how the game is played up to now. We are bringing it into the new millennium in 3D version, and we're not the only ones that have played this game. I know it's been played on canvas. It's also been played through words, where one person writes out maybe one sentence and then the next one another, and then at the end they read the story to see how it all came together, and and it's a fun way of just enjoying creativity. We are doing it though a little differently in the sculpture world, and I did also see a video through the internet that was phenomenal. Somewhere out there they did a version of it only in glass, and it was a collaboration, various artists, and it was all in the moment, and they did an exquisite job, and it was phenomenal. I was not aware of that before we started doing our thing. However, ours is still different because we're doing it in mixed media. We are actually having a combination of artists on the sculpture side that, for example, our poster boy that was presented on Thursday, the legs were done by Jeremiah Jacobs, and they were done in ceramic, clay. And then the torso was done by Salvador Saint Germain, an amazing sculptor as well, and my partner, and an Exquisite Corpse. And he did his in steel. And then we had the head done in glass by Josh Pohl, who is one of the partners and owners of Zen Glass here in St. Pete. And the combination that these three did was just phenomenal.
It was.
I was so, and everybody was so impressed there with the outcome of what I call the poster boy. You can go to Facebook on Exquisite Corpse page and see the pictures there. My personal page is Anne-Marie Castavasser. You can see it there. You can see it on runonair.com. You can see it all over the internet because we have a huge variety of amazing artists that are part of this initiative, and you can find it all over the website. I'm sorry, because that's what happens when you look down at your phone and people are sending messages. I looked down for a second and I saw these messages and I got totally distracted. Okay, and this camera is really like, I just want to.
You look great.
Yeah, man, it was like 3 times. I do want to mention that the artists that are participating in this game, okay, wait, before I get to the artists, sorry. I want to get back to, so I gave you an example of how the game is played. And now on November 12th, 2015, will be the unveiling of the exhibition, The Parade of Corpse, at the St. Petersburg Museum of Fine Arts. Pieces will be displayed at the museum and will be traveling to various museums throughout the year. The parade will be back in St. Petersburg before the 2016 game begins. The exhibit then will be entrusted to the collection at a local area museum for permanent display. We will be adding music and photography to the game as well. This is a one-of-a-kind, history-in-the-making collaborative experience, an exhibition created based on the game played by artists and will become a great marketing tool for all involved, while the Parade of Corpse exhibition travels to museums and art galleries around the globe. And I am huge on wanting to not do more of Me Too. I am always looking for creative new ways of doing things and being innovative. And I think that it should be huge for a community like ours, the art community that we have here in St. Petersburg. With that being said, my thought of the day, my word of the day, my little statement of the day is be creative and go beyond, but be you. Don't copy. Enhance. I mean, one thing is taking other people's ideas and running with them and enhancing them. But today I want to encourage every artist, every person that's listening to this show, be you and be creative and be all that you can be. Forget about everybody else. Listen to your own thoughts. Follow your first instinct, because this city, I know for at least St. Petersburg and the people I surround myself with, we have a huge, huge, huge community of innovators, of leaders. And what I want to encourage everybody to do is to stay on the top of your game, be you, do you, and you will continue to enhance your life and your revenue stream, and at the same time contributing to a healthier, growing art community. I'm going to say it in this case for the artists. I'm talking today about artists. We have a great group of artists that have been chosen to play this game. The other thing that we have done is the game, you cannot request to be added. You can send your information in to be noticed. However, there's a board that chooses the artist, and every board member has to approve of the artist. All board members are anonymous. We don't want anybody knowing who the board members are.
For you, perhaps?
Yeah, there's three of us that you know of, which is Salvador St. Germain, Jeremiah Jacobs, and myself.
Okay.
Because we three are the main that started this whole thing. However, we have other board members as well that now will be part of the process, part of the selection of artists that participate. The one thing I want everybody to be aware of, that if you were chosen to play the Exquisite Corpse, this is the first one here in St. Pete, 2014. I definitely must say that you have to be on the top of your game. Can you do me a huge favor there?
Of course.
Can you just go click on that screen over here?
Okay.
So
Right,
we can,
so you can see
what's going on. Or make
going
sure
on.
that the video is continuing. Okay, mental note. If I'm not sitting at the screen, I have to make sure that the screensaver is not on.
Okay.
Okay, today this is all in trial, and I appreciate everybody's patience of, doing this trial with me. Again, this is what all reality is all about. And one thing I want to always do is keep it real. Artists participating in the 2D portion of it is Mark Levasseur, Don Gillespie, Stephen Kenny, Kerry Jadis, James N. McCracken, Sebastian Coolidge, Mark Mitchell, Laura Spencer, and from the UK, Robert Lever, who actually lives in Manchester, UK. On the 3D sculpture side is Jeremiah Jacobs, Salvador St. Germain, Mark Ailing, Rocky Bridges, George Redkis, Cybercraft Robots, Josh Pohl, Dan Painter, Eli Cecil, Mark Knoll, Vince Pompey, Ryan Michelle, Marielle Bass, Rob Tanguay, Rebecca Skelton, Kaylin Ray, Dave Walker, Zoe Bosick. And we have one more, which is Christian Zobnik. What an amazing array of artists. Unfortunately, not every single one of them was able to be there, but the majority was. And also we have other contributors that are huge art contributors and amazing artists, such as Duncan McClelland. He came in, he's one of the sponsors, he's behind us 100%. And it was just so amazing and so fascinating to be there, to share time and space with such amazing people.
There were a few other sponsors there also that night, weren't there?
Absolutely. MB2 Production, shout out to you, Michael Brittenham II. And then we had Christopher, who is with Edward Jones. We have Cerulean Blue, Desiree. Aaron Davis, who performed music for us, and he will also be creating some exquisite music for the Exquisite Corpse. And then we had a dancer, which was, his last name is Gray, and his first name, I can't remember it off the top of my head. I
He was a great dancer.
Amazing dancer, and I will mention that soon. And in addition to all those people, we also had Lash there, who assisted behind the camera, and I cannot thank you enough for doing that.
Thanks for inviting me. It was a lot of fun.
And then we also had the ninja photographer.
Right.
And he did a phenomenal job. Last name, Stephen Lee.
Yes.
And we're about to post all these pictures up on the website and Facebook within the next 2 days as well. So Lash, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Now, I would love, from your perspective, what was your take on the Exquisite Corpse?
The event itself went really smoothly. Besides a few minutes delay in opening, all the artists came in and mingled, and we had a good spread of food to eat. And it was, from what I could tell from the artists, they really enjoyed being able to meet each other, because they're all well-known artists in the area. Some of them know each other, but a lot of them didn't. So they were really excited to be able to meet the other artists in the area who they're collaborating with. So that was good fun for them. And it was great to have the musician there singing. He was a really good vocalist. And to have the break dancer, he was really good. It was good fun and drew the focus into when you needed to start the presentation. And then it was Jeremiah and Sebastian who did the presentation. Salvador, right. Sorry about that.
That's okay, because we do have Sebastian Coolidge, so it's easy to get
There you
confused.
go. Yeah, Salvador and Jeremiah did an excellent job presenting explaining the rules of the game, answering questions from the artists, and giving displaying the poster boy. And everyone was excited to go up and take a look at the poster boy and get an idea of what they were going to be doing. And they did a really good job of explaining the do's and the don'ts, so that the artists don't make mistakes that would cause the sculptures to be broken during transportation, because they're going to be transported all around the world to different museums. So actually it worked out really well during their trial run of making the poster boy. Jeremiah and Salvador and Josh, who made the head, for them to actually come across some problems and mistakes and everything, so that they, field tested it and figured out what they needed to do so that that wouldn't happen when they do the real corpses.
I'm glad you addressed that, because a lot of thought process and time has gone into this.
Yeah, you could see that.
And Jeremiah and Salvador St. Germain did a phenomenal job at figuring out, okay, how are we going to put this crate together,
right,
and how are we going to make it resistant. They took all those elements into consideration. Also, as the game was distributed out to everybody, there was a thought process involved of, okay, based on the media that the artists do, how are we going to allocate them? The purpose of the game that we're doing right now is to have the artists get out of their comfort zone. So of course, if you're an artist that you do, I don't know, mostly probably heads, you're great on portraits, most likely you won't get a head to do for this. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not saying that that's the way it's going to go, but that was part of what we have done. So the only people that they knew that day what they were doing were the people that are doing the legs. The legs, the foundation, which is extremely important as well, but every single part of the body is important. In this case, every single part of the sculpture, every single part of the painting is very important. Because, okay, so what do you do if you only have legs, but you don't have a torso and a head? Or if you only have a torso and you don't have a head or legs, I mean, it's incomplete. So every single portion is as important as the other part of the body. However, you will know who does the legs. That's the only people that we knew. We allowed the other people to know that day because we gave out the crates. The way it's going to work is that on the sculpture side, there's a crate that's been designed and it's been well thought out. So, and it's divided in 3 sections. So the first artist that's doing the legs unscrews more or less from the middle section and does their portion of it, covers it with the paper, leaves, there's 2 bolts that are going to be left out. It gets covered, screws the box back in. So when the next artist that's doing the torso gets it, already has it, only unscrews from there up, does not see the legs, does the torso, screws it on again, and then the same thing happens with the head. That's why on November 12th at the Museum of Fine Arts, the artists and the general public at the same time are going to see what came out at the same time for the first time.
Yeah.
They also do not know who is with them on the piece.
That's right.
And nobody, even if they say, oh, well, if it slips out, rule number 1 was to have fun. Rule number 2 was secrecy. You cannot share with anybody what you are doing.
Right.
For example, my husband is part of the game. I will not get to see his piece, what he's painting or anything else, and he does not know who else he's participating with. I mean, that is part of the game.
And it's quite fun.
It makes it fun because
edgy.
Absolutely, because you know that every single artist that's participating is good.
Yeah.
So we're forcing people to get out of their comfort zone. So depending on what it is that you have to do, just be all that you can be. Do all you can.
Right.
Not worrying about what other people are doing, saying, thinking, just being in the moment and creating. And that's exactly why I say that my thought of the day is be creative, be innovative, be yourself. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. And think of creative ways of excelling without doing more of me too. Because we, and I'm choking, so that must mean don't talk about that too much right now. But yeah, there's a lot going on in this city that is starting to get on my nerves a little bit. I normally tend to be quiet, I don't critique, I encourage.
Right.
And more power to it, more power to you. But sometimes it gets a little ridiculous. And again, why spin your wheels on something that's already being done and not go ahead and do your own thing? And that's my thought of the day, and I'm sticking to it. And again, I'm choking, so I'm staying quiet on that one.
Well, now, 2 other things I wanted to point out, if I may. So artists are obviously.
I see that.
I see it. Artists are really curious and creative, obviously, by nature. So just think how it must be driving them nuts to wonder who else are they collaborating with on this piece? Who else? What's the rest of their sculpture going to look like in the end? And they won't know, so it's going to build up a lot of anticipation with them. So they're going to be busting at the seams by the time November 12th comes to see what the final result is and share that spontaneous excitement with the general public who come to watch the event. Because like you said, they have no idea who they're collaborating with, what the rest of their sculpture is going to look like until the same day that it's revealed to the public. So that's very cool.
And yes, they're very curious. In addition, though, to the curiosity, which is how we want to keep them, I must say it's very challenging to get that amount of artists, especially that caliber of artists that's always within their own head, to get them to come on out and to participate in something like this. And that was also something that was just incredible about what happened this past Thursday at the Museum of Fine Arts. I also must give a shout out to Audrey, who is our liaison at the Museum of Fine Arts.
Yes.
She is director, I think, of retail and of events, community events, and If I have the title wrong, I'm so sorry, because I just see her as an amazing, incredible, creative being. And who better to have than somebody like that working at the Museum of Fine Arts? So I'm not saying this, for propaganda. I'm saying it's so nice and refreshing to actually be able to go to a museum and see that the people there are completely devoted to their job, and they are doing and keeping it real of what participating or working at a museum of fine arts should all be about. So
That's true.
I want to thank Audrey for all she's done and all she does. And she's a huge collaborator to this art community. And just the artists having the opportunity to meet and to do something at the Museum of Fine Arts.
But last but not least, then of course we have to thank Anne Marie herself.
Aww.
Because you did such a good job of pulling all those artists together and getting this project together with your two colleagues. So, and you helped the event run really smoothly that night. You did a great job. And so, like you said, it's phenomenal that you could get that caliber of artists within this community, so many of them together, working on this project together. And you're the one who did that. So, big kudos to you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. I really believe in what we're doing.
Yeah.
I only get involved in initiatives that I feel that really, serve a purpose, it's creative. I am not one for politics. I don't know a lot about politics. I only know how things affect my livelihood. And based on that, I can maybe make some assessments. I don't talk about, murders and rapes and that kind of stuff. What I focus on at this stage of my life are happy, feel-good type of things that we can contribute to our community in a positive manner. And I am explaining all that because I really believe that I am guided by the higher power. And when things are meant to be, they will.
Yeah.
And when you go into something with good intentions,
Yeah.
it has good outcome. If you go into something with bad intentions, then come on now. And it's for me, that's just common sense. So thank you for giving me,
the credit.
the credit. I really appreciate that. However, I do want to continue to acknowledge that there is a lot of strength in unity.
Yes.
No one person. You do excel when you have, the help and others involved. I get criticized a lot because people think that I don't want help. And it's not that I don't want help. I just want the right help. I want to make sure that the people that are going to get involved see it, feel it, believe it, that we are on the same frequency.
Yeah.
Because even then, things, you get thrown curveballs, knowing that that everybody has the right intention at heart. Makes everything okay. And going for the same goal, we can agree to disagree and things will get solved. And so those are the type of initiatives that I want to continue to get myself involved in. And I was so happy to see, I was extremely emotional that night. There was so much that I wanted that we were going to cover. We were going to say the same thing for the guys. And once you're there, once you're in the moment, once you're seeing that everybody's enjoying and sharing and getting excited, the excitement level in that room was just phenomenal, incredible. I felt like if I would have been in the movies Ghostbusters, for example, that the energy that was created in that room, we actually spread that out into the Museum of Fine Arts. And what better place and space to share creative energy flow. So I really think that we contributed last Thursday as a whole, as a group, to leave some more great energy in that Museum of Fine Arts, which I know it constantly gets because they do weddings and you see all these pictures of people in the moment and just full of love and everybody that participates. So that space is very special. And again, I thank everybody for participating, and I'm grateful that I'm actually just able to be part of this great initiative. It's a lot of fun. I have people asking questions and wanting to know. Well, I want you all to know that the reason we're leaving it at this low key was because first we wanted to get everything out there to the artists and for them knowing what is involved in what they're doing. Now there will be a lot of marketing for the actual event. The event will be held at the Museum of Fine Arts, and we are not charged. Guess how much we're charging? It's not $75. It's not $50 to attend. It's not $25 to attend. How much do you think we're charging?
20.
Not $20 either. We're doing $5. And yes,
Wow.
you heard it, $5. And those $5 go to the Museum of Fine Arts. So not only are you going to get the opportunity to share with amazing like-minded people, you're going to get to meet the artists, you're going to get to see the exhibit firsthand, you're going to get to see a documentary of how this whole show is put, this whole process has gotten to the point that they have. I'm actually going to be directing and producing the documentary, and the filming and editing is going to be done by Zoom. There's a new studio, well, they've been there now like for I think 2 years, Zoo Studios, that it's on First Avenue North and almost 16th Street. And what a great studio they have in there, and they are sponsoring and collaborating also with me to make this documentary happen. I mean, everything is just coming together, so I'm grateful for that. Shout out to them. Thank you, Salvador St. Germain, for putting this in place as well. It's just going to be an all-around phenomenal experience for $5. And yes, it's going to the Museum of Fine Arts. How do we make our money? How are we getting the funds to do this? We're going for private sponsors. And the private sponsor, the money that we've gotten so far went into the materials for the crates, creating those crates, all the materials that were needed and that we were able to distribute to the artists. Now the other sponsorships will continue to be for the actual event, for some food and for some drinks, and also so the corpse can travel to the different museums. We're already putting in place some of these places where they will be traveling to, and you can go, there will be on the website a map. So as people contribute to the Corpses Parade, we will have little dots up there with their names and the contributors and how far they're taking the corpses. So this is going to be a game, fun experience all around, and everything is just being put back into it. How we benefit, we the artists, is it's a marketing tool, and hopefully the goal is that people around this state, around this country, around the world would get a very good feel for the amazing art that's created. And we want to get St. Petersburg also known to be a hub for collectors, so they can come here, buy art, go to our beaches, go to our restaurants, go to our plays, and enjoy everything the city has to offer. And in the same token, we'll all continue to benefit and be able to live from what we do for our livelihood.
So in other words, the artists are getting publicity and getting exposure nationally and internationally by being part of the exhibition. Their name's out there, their work's out there. So that will hopefully bring them more clientele and business.
Absolutely. I'm looking at my phone again because I'm getting messages. I'm not wanting to be rude. I used to have a sound engineer that was with me full time. Actually, I had various of them. And I'm going to say this, all with the exception, well, Ron is not a sound engineer. Ron has always been part of music. So Ron, this is not about you. And Ron Harris is still with us. But I've had various sound engineers throughout the years. And I'm grateful for every single one that came through those doors. I learned something from them. However, it seems like once they come in and they come in with a lot of enthusiasm, and once they learn a little bit, they want to go out there in the world and do it on their own. And from the 1, 2, 3, 4 sound engineers I've had, I'm going to say 4 of them ran off and started doing some of their own thing in radio, etc. And I know that out of the 4 of them, 1 right now is continuing to try to pursue that right here in St. Pete. And more power to him, however it goes. But because of that, I have decided now that whoever I bring in, I do want a sound engineer, but I want it the same way as it's gone with the Exquisite Corpse. I want somebody who gets it, that sees the vision, that's willing to put in the work and also learn. And the amount of people you get to meet, etc., the experience is amazing. but I just want somebody that can be on the same frequency and will enjoy it. So therefore, I am doing sound engineering for now. I am doing camera. So if you see me looking at my phone and running to the computer, which I'm a little nervous again because right now I have to go, and make sure that the video is continuing to go on. And apparently it is, with not much of a latency because I'm seeing my lips now. So that's hopefully that's all right. So if you're someone out there, I know you're out there, the person that should be the next sound engineer for Rhino on Air, you have some time, you want to have some fun, and hopefully you'll be able to make a little bit of money as well, even though here at Rhino on Air, everything is done volunteered. I volunteered the time, I cover the expenses so far. Again, I'm using it as a marketing tool. And what I do is PR and marketing, and we do have some talk shows, and that's how things get funded for the radio station. So food for thought, you're welcome to send me an email at annemarie@rhinoonair.com. Or you can go through our website and just send me a note.
So you're making a call out for sound engineer.
Yes, you know what?
It's going to fit in with Rhino on Air and promoting the arts. And
you're an amazing, really good co-host. You're making me feel that, you see, that's what a co-host does, where you just they come in and they reiterate and they make sure
clear
and make that saying. I definitely need a co-host. How long are you in town?
You do a pretty good job on your own. You're doing fine.
I believe it or not, I really do not like doing shows by myself. The shows, I love interviewing people. I love highlighting other people, and I love learning through those. When I'm highlighting other people and interviewing, I'm just getting to know these people, and I'm always in such awe. On that note, I know that last week we had Lash on Connected Dots with Anne-Marie, and it just flew by. And we were talking about some of your experiences and some of your travel. Exquisite Corpse is something that's going to be traveling as well, and that's why you play a very important role in this whole thing. And Lash she has a website which is Lash World Tour, and she has been traveling the world. I met Lash, I think 4 or 5 years ago.
That's right, 2005.
And for you, and she was actually here for a few months, and I just met you at the tail end, just before you were getting back on the road again. Mm-hmm. However, I was so grateful that at this time around, because I already had met her, I got to exchange and share with her before.
Yeah, we kept in touch.
Yes,
4 years that I've been gone.
I am going to run out of this room for 1 second.
Okay.
But I would love for you to share with our audience that's listening right now. Okay. I do want to talk of what you've done, but I do want to also share what's the next step. Where are you heading from here once you leave St. Petersburg? Mm-hmm. So can you share 2 things?
Yes, okay.
1, what you have been doing while you're here, and 2, what you are what's next.
Okay.
And I'll be right back, and I'm leaving you with Lash.
Okay, all right, thanks for the intro. So I have the good fortune that my mom and my brother both live here in St. Pete, because St. Pete's a great place. Prior to this, when I came back to the States, it was to either West Virginia or Pennsylvania, which are okay, but let's face it, Florida and St. Pete is way above that, for me anyhow. We've got, here in St. Pete, it's very sunny, obviously, because it's Florida, and there's beaches, there's marinas, sailing, there's the arts community, there's just so many great, nice people here, and restaurants. So when I come back now to the United States, to St. Petersburg, Florida, I'm happy to come back here, and I tend to linger a little bit longer than I would elsewhere. So I'm always happy to be back. And since I was here last time and got to know people like Anne-Marie and others in the arts, and kept in touch with them while I was gone the last 3 years traveling, then when I came back, I already had a whole bunch of friends and acquaintances that I knew, so that was great. So what I've been doing this time right now is I'm learning sailing. So I'm really lucky. My mom and her husband bought a boat a year ago, and they didn't sail on it very much until I got here. And then it was a bit of a push. So we've been going out every week, except for this rainy times. And every Friday evening, most people don't know this, but the St. Petersburg Yacht Club has impromptu sailing races every Friday evening down at the sailing center on Denman's Island. So I go down there every Friday evening, and go sailing racing. So at least twice a week, generally, I get to go out sailing. And so I'm being very diligent learning because I would like to go crew on a sailboat down through the Caribbean. So I've just started looking for crew work online. And so if anyone knows a boat who needs extra crew to, heading out from Florida to somewhere, then let me know because I'm interested. So I've been learning sailing. I'm also, I've been doing photography and travel writing all these years that I've been traveling. And now I'm just trying to up my game on the photography and taking an online photography course through Matador Travel Media University. So I'm focusing on those two things and, meeting up with friends and so on and so forth.
What sparks your interest to write? You've been writing, you're traveling.
Yep.
What is it that sparks your interest? What do you write about when you're out there in the world? Like, for example, there's people that are foodies.
Right.
So what is what is your world tour been about so far?
Right. Personally, when I'm traveling, my main interests are in nature, the great outdoors, doing outdoor activities, and then on culture and arts, whether that's architecture, painting, sculptures, art galleries, or whatever, and music and fabrics and everything that has to do with art and culture in different countries. So wherever I'm traveling, those are the two things that I'm most interested in exploring. So myself. So that tends to be what I write about as well. But when I started my travel blog, the point of that is to help inspire other people to follow their dreams, follow their passions, and to get out and travel the world. Because I know there are a lot of people who want to travel the world and aren't quite sure how to do it, especially financially, or are timid, or they want, they just need a little bit of a push and a jump and inspiration and how to. So towards that goal, then I started writing a lot more travel tips for people to help inspire them.
Sorry, that camera thing is very disturbing to me.
You see what happens when you put the camera on?
Yeah, that's it. I'm not doing this, but everybody else, and I don't like it. Yeah.
So towards the end of it,
so fat. It's
you're not fat. Forget it.
Sorry.
So towards the goal of helping inspire other people to travel the world and follow their dreams, then I've been adding a lot more travel tips. Of all the destinations. I have travel tips, money tips, accommodation tips, flight tips, and destination tips to help people go out and travel.
I just saw for the first time ever a TV show on the History Channel called Alone.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
I had never seen that before. And I put a post on Facebook saying, oh my gosh, this is my new favorite show, reality TV show, and people are like, oh yeah, they're filming, there's somebody that really. In all reality, no. What happens is each contestant, they take them to a secluded area. Could be in North Carolina. It doesn't have to be it's not in the middle of the desert. There are people that live around the surroundings, but there are some really cool wilderness places where people can just go and
wilderness.
Correct. So they go in there and they have to learn how to survive in there. They give them some basic tools, but it's all about survival and the survival of the fittest. So they started out with 9 people, and they were all guys in this case. And how they start dropping off. And somebody put there, it's TV, and how are they even filming? Well, as far as I understood it, they actually, each one gets their own camera. They have their cameras, their batteries. They plan for this. They also give them a satellite phone. So for once they're done, they can call in and they will be picked up immediately. They don't want anybody to get killed in this game. However, they sign the waivers that if something happens, you're on your own. Reason why I bring this up to you is because you're traveling around the world all the time. You're teaching people, or you're helping people with information on how they can do this on budgets and, things that can be done. I'm sure that in that process, there's a lot of time that you may spend alone as well.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I saw through this experience that they shared is the fact that humans, we are designed, by design, we are not meant to be alone.
Okay.
We are designed to share because those people that are out there for 20 days, they start getting stir crazy. They're out in the, and you know, and they're, but they start getting actually crazy, and they're saying it, you know, oh my gosh, I didn't know, it's starting to get to me. And it made me think how, you know, we talk about divorces and I need my space and I need my time. And I understand that we all do need that. But it's creating that balance between the two of of me being me, not losing my identity if I'm with somebody else, and being able to have my own alone time. But again, that extreme of being all alone, I don't know if we really do enjoy it as much as we think we do. That's where the question comes into you. As you travel and you've been out there and you're doing your thing and you're having your alone time, what's your experience on that?
It is, yeah, a lot of people who want to go out and travel, that is a concern about them. Oh, I don't want to go by myself. I'm going to be lonely. It's going to be scary, all this kind of thing. Well, it is so easy to meet people. I can just walk into a shop and become friends with the staff that's working there. You know, you're always staying at a hotel. You're sleeping somewhere. If it's a guest house, a hostel, a hotel, you have to go eat places. You know, if there's restaurants, a street market, whatever. And so you're surrounded by people all the time. It's so easy to strike up an acquaintanceship, a friendship, a chat with someone working at, you know, the guest house where you're staying, at the restaurant where you eat, or if you want to hang out with other travelers, there are other hotels full of travelers. So there you go. There's people to meet. You go to a market, you go to a bar, you go to a beach. I mean, I meet people all the time. I strike up conversations with people continuously. I have more trouble trying to get alone time, you know, like too many people trying to talk to me sometimes. So it's not a worry at all if you're going out traveling to, you know, feeling lonely. And besides meeting people, now with all this technology, you can get on a phone and text somebody, call somebody, get on the internet. You know, you can have as much or as little alone time as you want to when you're traveling solo.
You see, and that takes me to, there's a difference between being alone and being lonely.
That's true.
I'm alone. I like my alone time.
I do too.
My husband and I have a great system going for us so far. Knock on wood. And I give him his space. He gives me my space. Sometimes he likes to paint at the middle of the night. You know, he'll get up and I want to start painting now, and more power to you. Normally, though, if he's going to do something like that, I actually then go and do some work as well, because that's the time we do it. I'm starting to realize we do have our own clock. We are forced to do certain things at certain times. Like this show starts at 10 a.m., so I have to be here at 10 a.m. He gives classes at the Morin and Painting with the Twist and Create a Play, so there's a schedule that needs to be met there. However, when we're not within having forced to be within a certain time frame, our clock is all over the place, which I'm trying to correct some of it because of eating habits and wanting to lose weight and be fit. And they say you shouldn't eat, like they say, don't eat after 6 p.m. because of, you know, the time you're supposed to go to bed. Well, in our case, we do eat after 6 p.m., but we normally never go to bed at 4 hours after that anyway. So our schedules are totally different. That's why we allow each other the alone time.
Sure.
But even when I was not with my husband, I've never felt lonely.
Right.
When I was single, I've never felt lonely. My previous jobs as regional sales manager, and I have traveled the world. I traveled from here to Istanbul, Turkey, and I traveled from here to Argentina. And the reason why I make those examples, or from here to Seattle, Washington, it's because these are the other extremes. From Florida to Istanbul, from Florida to Hawaii or California, or to Argentina, all the way down to South America. That's the other extreme. And even throughout that whole process, never felt lonely. I have never felt lonely. And I think that is part of the reason why I'm so excited of being involved in the things that I'm passionate about, now in this stage of my life, because it does provide a certain fulfillment. And every day, wherever you go, that's why my sister teases me. I talk to people in the bathrooms, and it takes me sometimes 15, 20 minutes to get out of a
You meet
bathroom.
people easily too.
I can concur to that. You can meet people anywhere.
That's right.
It's all in the attitude.
Yeah, that's right.
Sailing, it's already 10:58. One more question.
Yeah.
Sailing is something that I personally have done twice. I have some friends that I have a friend that has an amazing sailboat in
Oh, great.
in Delaware,
Okay.
and I've gone down the Chesapeake Bay,
Oh, nice.
and we've stopped with some other fishermen. They bought the basket of crabs
Oh,
and
great.
do that at the beach, and I've had that experience.
Good.
Personally, I loved sailing,
Mhm.
and it is a great team building experience.
Yeah. Yes.
You're currently looking to go on with a crew, and you definitely want it to be a sailboat, not a motorboat, correct?
Correct. A small privately owned yacht, sailing yacht. Some of those yachts, what they do is they take on passengers, vacationers, as clientele, and then cruise them around through the Caribbean or something, and that's how they earn their living, showing people around on a sailing vacation, basically. So something like that, or other sailors, they need to move a boat from one place to another for the owner. Some of them are, taking cargo or whatever. So something like that is what I hope to be doing.
Well, you will be.
Boat.
I know you will find it. We're putting it out there. I'm actually going to contact some of my friends also that
Wow,
do sailing
thanks. Awesome.
to make sure, to at least contribute, to make sure that I do something
Yes.
to help, because I am so grateful for the help you provided physically. I'm so grateful for the help that you provided me emotionally, having you there, having you encourage me, help me, guide me.
Mhm.
It just made a whole difference for me as well. So
Okay.
anything that I could do
Perfect.
in exchange, I am more than grateful. I'm willing to do so. As I said, it's already 11 o'clock. And I'm very sad that this hour already passed by. I mean, it does not
Again.
feel like it was an hour.
That's fast.
We have been talking about the Exquisite Corpse 2015 that will be creating the Parade of Corpse here in St. Petersburg, Florida, and that's going to be an exhibition at the Museum of Fine Arts on November 12th, 2015. Lash, before I give my final farewells
Yes.
for this particular show,
Yes.
anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, and I wasn't really ready for that question either.
That's
so
okay. That's why
I don't
we're in the
really have
moment.
anything
Your thoughts of the
else to
day.
say.
So how's the rest of your day going to go?
Oh, great. I'm going to go to the Chihuly Exhibit Collection and do some photography, and hopefully stay here and chat with you for a while. And by then time it'll probably be sunset, so then I'll want to photograph some sunsets. So it's going to be a nice day out. We finally got past all that rain, and it's sunny here.
Yesterday, was it
Sunny weather
yesterday or the day before yesterday? I actually had the opportunity, the day before yesterday, a manatee. We've been very fortunate. We are house sitting for some friends and taking care of their dog, Peanut, who is this beautiful
So cute.
black poodle.
Mhm.
He's a full
Right.
poodle. He's amazing. Yes, a little neurotic, but amazing. And we're just so grateful to be there. And
Yeah.
it's in such a nice, quaint, peaceful part of St. Pete Beach area.
Right. Nice.
And so I know you're going to enjoy the rest of your day. I'm looking
Yes.
forward also to head out early and be able to ride bike and do some stuff out there. So that's why we want to encourage to all our listeners, come visit St. Pete. I'm sure you will enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And
It's a
from
great
St.
place.
Pete, you can get in the car and yes, go to Orlando, go to Tampa, Busch Gardens, go down to South Beach, Miami, and enjoy everything this beautiful state has to offer. You may want to plan a lot of time, because once you come to this neck of the woods, it's really hard to leave to go do other
That's
stuff.
true.
So you have been listening to Connect the Dots with Anne-Marie. We are all connected in one way or another, and this show is about people empowering people, preferably through the arts. And to all our listeners out there in the UK, thank you so much for listening. I'm so excited also about Fab Radio International and our relationship with them. Paul Ripley, shout out to you. Robert Lever, thank you so much for participating in the Exquisite Corpse. And as Connect the Dots moves forward from next week on, we will be interviewing every week one of the artists that are participating in the Exquisite Corpse, so you get to
Great.
know them better as well. Lash, thank you for being here with me.
Thanks for having
And
me.
I hope
Marie.
you all continue to enjoy a great day. Today at 6:30 is Going Solo with Cece Shaz.